Whoa. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Invisible, the War After the War, a program organized by Humanity House and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Humanity House, next door to here, a museum and a platform where the complexity of conflict and peace is discussed. So this program is the closing event of the conference Mind the Mind, in which the importance of mental health and psychological support in situations of humanitarian crisis was discussed by experts and policymakers from around the world. So what you've just have seen is a piece from the dance performance Europa, made by the Nigerian choreographer Kudus Unikeku. And Europa is a performance about, as you've seen, migration, both a bizarre and very realistic depiction of a journey by 3 young Nigerians on their way to Europe. And Europa is here on the invitation of Afro Vibes, and they will perform the full performance Friday in Amsterdam and Sunday in Rotterdam. So if you want to see it, please go to the website of Afro Vibes. My name is Mirthe Frese, by the way, and I will be your moderator tonight. We're going to discuss a lot. So the main theme, as you know, of course, is the importance of mental health and psychological support in humanitarian crisis. And we will address questions like, so in what way should psychological aid be part of emergency aid? And who should provide this aid? Is this the international aid worker or the local aid worker? And how do you deal with cultural differences and stigma around the issue of psychological aid? And how do you make it sustainable? Because often you work in a context which is quite chaotic. So this is what we're going to do. We will look through the eyes of different artists we have done, but we will see more what on a personal level it means to and does to people to experience conflict, what they have lost, what they have to endure, and how they struggle to become human again, instead of being labeled as victims or refugees. And after that, I will talk to 3 experts who all work in the field of psychological aid, but with their very different backgrounds and in very different contexts. And last, we will hear how to deal with the psychological stress being an aid worker yourself. But before that, I'm going to talk to the Minister of Foreign Trade and Development, Sigrid Kaag, since she was the initiator of the Mind to Mind conference. And before I invite her to the table, we will first show a first clip that is a resume of the Mind to Mind conference. Oh. Yes, technology is everything.
In humanitarian crisis, I do believe that MHPSS is a matter of life or death.
And we need to break the silence that still oppresses so many.
Neglecting this problem undermines the recovery of individuals, communities, and nations.
To come out of my experience, it was so painful because I thought I had no reason to live.
Constant feeling of that constant hunger of not knowing when the next time I would eat.
No wonder I can see his eyes that he was so sorry he couldn't do anything for that young man. He had to go and help other people who had a chance to live.
If I would be now in Syria and say like I need psychosocial support, the people gonna look at me really weird way and ask me a question this way: are you crazy?
Yet in many cases, these conditions are ignored or trivialized, despite the fact that they risk leading to serious long-term consequences.
The issue of mental health care is still considered a taboo.
We have to connect government with community.
The main barrier for implementing or taking our efforts forward is lack of political will and funding.
The majority of people, they can recover very well after these disasters if we manage to provide the adequate social support for them.
The people who see me as like a traumatized refugee, I tell them, oh, look at me now. I'm no longer just a victim. Instead, I'm a person with skills and expertise to support my community.
The fight for global equality for mental health has only just begun.
To be very frank, you need champions to bring this on the political agenda.
80 million children are living in war zones today that need psychosocial support right away.
To see people from many different organizations coming on board for this agenda. Just big thanks to the Netherlands for creating this moment.
Put mental health and psychosocial support first, all the time, everywhere, for everyone.
This conference makes me more hopeful about the future of mental health.
I'm really pleased that finally people are actually talking the language that people need.
Educating people and creating awareness again, I think very important, and that's what I will try to do when I get back.
It should be a common sense that we spend time and money in this topic.
As a priority, not something that's done